A slow-motion sequence of courthouse steps emerges on the screen, each stone bearing the weight of history and countless untold stories. The camera shifts to close-ups of determined eyes, each pupil reflecting battles fought and victories yet to come. A stirring voice commences the narration with a solemn tone. Justice is not an abstract concept, but a living legacy, an enduring promise to those who have suffered in silence. The words of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. remind us that the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. Today, we witness the unfolding of that arc through one brave soul. Visions of past civil rights marches and faded photographs of resolute faces intermingle with present-day images of a young girl preparing to change the narrative. A powerful musical score underscores the montage, evoking the enduring spirit of determination and resilience. The visual narrative creates an atmosphere that is both reflective and charged with anticipation, setting the stage for a journey that connects the struggles of yesterday with the promise of a fairer tomorrow. A vivid scene unfolds as the camera pans over a bustling community marked by its diverse voices and shared history. The narration continues with a measured cadence that bridges personal experience with collective memory. In a world where injustice often silences the vulnerable, the courage of one individual can spark a revolution. Our story is not merely about pain or past grievances. It is about the transformation of that pain into a resounding call for change. This is a journey that begins with personal sorrow and culminates in public empowerment. The narrative voice draws viewers into an intimate understanding of the challenges faced by those who have long been marginalized. Each word is chosen with care to ensure clarity and emotional impact, avoiding the pitfalls of complexity while preserving the gravity of the moment. As the scene shifts from historical imagery to the present, the focus narrows on a young girl whose presence embodies both the innocence of youth and the strength of a warrior. Her eyes, resolute and filled with quiet determination, mirror the struggles and triumphs of generations past. A montage of archival footage and modern-day visuals flows seamlessly, linking the quiet dignity of civil rights pioneers to the palpable energy of current challenges. The voiceover continues, evoking a sense of legacy that resonates deeply with older generations who have witnessed the march of progress through decades of hardship and hope. Let us remember that the fight for equality is a continuum, a thread woven through the tapestry of our shared history. From the footsteps of those who marched for freedom to the quiet acts of defiance that shape our communities today, every moment of courage contributes to the legacy of justice. This is the story of a young girl who stands up not only for herself, but for all who have ever been silenced. In a fluid transition, the narrative tone evolves to articulate the overarching theme of the production. The camera lingers on the determined face of the young protagonist as her silhouette merges with the backdrop of a setting sun, symbolizing both the end of a long day of struggle and the dawning of a new era. The voiceover, now imbued with a blend of hope and resolve, reinforces the idea that one courageous voice can alter the course of history. In every trial, there lies the potential for transformation. The journey that we are about to embark upon is one of personal redemption and communal triumph. It is a testament to the power of speaking truth to power, a reminder that every act of courage, no matter how small, reverberates through the corridors of history. Our tale is an invitation to reflect on the legacy of those who have come before, and a call to continue their work in our own lives. A series of poignant images flash across the screen. Hands clasped in solidarity, eyes that reflect both sorrow and hope, and the resolute expression of a young girl who stands as a beacon of change. The narration leaves an open loop, inviting viewers to ponder the impact of this courageous act and to anticipate the unfolding journey that will challenge the status quo and redefine justice. A vibrant recollection of childhood emerges as the screen displays faded photographs and quiet home videos. In a modest neighborhood filled with warmth and resilience, young Maya grows up surrounded by a family that cherishes hard work and honor. Her parents, pillars of strength in their close-knit community, nurture her innate curiosity and instill in her the importance of fairness. A series of archival images reveal family gatherings where laughter mingles with serious conversations about the past. These treasured moments, captured in black and white and sepia tones, reflect a legacy of courage that has been passed down through generations. An intimate scene unfolds in a small living room. Maya, barely 10 years old, sits attentively at a worn wooden table. Her mother explains the significance of every cherished family heirloom and every photograph that adorns the walls. Every artifact carries the memory of a time when the fight for justice was a daily endeavor. Maya listens with wide eyes as her father recounts the sacrifices made during long-forgotten protests and peaceful marches. His measured voice paints a picture of a community that refused to be silenced. Through these shared stories, Maya learns that each act of defiance and every quiet moment of dignity has paved the way for the future she is now beginning to shape. A montage of personal recollections transitions smoothly into a glimpse of Maya at school. In a classroom bathed in natural light, she sits at her desk with a notebook full of dreams and aspirations. The camera lingers on her thoughtful expression as she listens to lessons about historical figures who fought against injustice. Subtle signs of inner strength become apparent in her determined posture and the way her eyes sparkle when she speaks about fairness and equality. This tender portrayal of everyday school life underscores a reality where innocence meets a deep-seated resolve to challenge the status quo. The narrative now shifts to capture a broader view of the social landscape. Historical footage of civil rights marches and stirring moments from the past blend with current-day images of community rallies. The narration explains that the struggle for equality is not a recent occurrence, but a continuum that stretches back decades. The viewer is guided through significant milestones, such as the courageous actions during the civil rights movement and landmark legal decisions that have shaped the nation. Each visual reference serves as a reminder of the long battle against racism and injustice, echoing the voices of those who refused to accept oppression. An evocative scene of protest, marches, and fervent speeches illustrates how historical struggles have laid the foundation for modern acts of resistance. Archival clips of iconic leaders whose eyes burned with determination and whose words resounded with hope are interwoven with recent images of peaceful demonstrations. This interplay between past and present creates a powerful juxtaposition, highlighting that the legacy of heroes remains alive in every courageous act. The narration states clearly, the fight for justice flows through the veins of our communities, binding the past to the present in an unyielding quest for truth. Such words serve as a bridge, connecting the viewer to the enduring spirit of those who came before. A serene yet powerful sequence follows, displaying a mural painted on a community wall. The mural captures the faces of diverse heroes, each brushstroke a tribute to perseverance and hope. The imagery is designed to evoke the memories of struggles fought in distant times and to remind the audience that history is not static, but continues to live in every act of resistance. Through careful storytelling, the script reveals that Maya embodies not only her own hopes, but also the dreams of generations who have always believed in the promise of change. The narration deepens as the camera focuses on an old family album, its pages filled with images of brave individuals standing against injustice. The voice explains that the history of civil rights is not merely a chapter in a textbook, but an ongoing narrative that each person carries within. It is a legacy of determination, etched in every smile, every tear, and every act of defiance against the forces of oppression. This historical context provides a profound backdrop for the events that will soon unfold, casting Maya not as an isolated figure but as the next link in a long chain of resistance. In this carefully crafted tapestry of personal and collective memory, the viewer is left with an open invitation to reflect on the continuous struggle for equality. The legacy of past heroes is not confined to the pages of history. It is alive in every determined glance and every resolute step taken in the present. The journey of Maya is a microcosm of that unending fight, a living testament to the power of heritage and the promise of a just future. A heavy sky loomed over the courthouse as an unsettling moment unfurled, marking a dark chapter in a setting once deemed sacrosanct. Maya, a determined 10-year-old, experienced a barrage of racist abuse that reverberated through the cold halls of justice. A figure of authority, once trusted to uphold fairness, unleashed words laced with hatred. Each syllable struck with deliberate cruelty, echoing off stone walls and embedding a painful reminder of a long history of injustice. The atmosphere shifted instantly, as if the very air conspired with the harsh words, leaving the young girl and all who bore witness in stunned silence. In an environment where every sound was amplified, the audible murmur of disdain merged with the distant ticking of a clock, marking every agonizing second. The dull hum of overhead lights and the subtle rustle of papers created an oppressive backdrop. Maya, her eyes wide and glistening with unshed tears, absorbed each word that shattered the fragile calm. Her small frame trembled not only with shock but also with a burgeoning determination to defy the cruelty that sought to diminish her spirit. The sensory details of that moment, the biting scent of stale air, the echo of venomous language, and the oppressive gloom, painted an indelible portrait of suffering and indignity. Beyond the walls of the courtroom, the ripple effects of that verbal onslaught began to take shape. Neighbors and community members, many of whom had long borne witness to subtle forms of discrimination, felt the sting of injustice as if it were their own. In local homes and schools, conversations turned somber as parents and teachers recounted the incident in hushed tones. An elderly resident recalled, "This is reminiscent of past struggles. The pain is all too familiar, yet the hope for change endures." Such reflections, shared in quiet gatherings and community meetings, underscored the collective shock and sorrow that had taken root. In a small classroom not far from the courthouse, teachers observed a palpable shift among their students. Whispers filled corridors as children exchanged nervous glances and tearful nods. Educators, acutely aware of the incident's impact, organized impromptu discussions about respect, equality, and the weight of historical injustice. Each child seemed to carry a newfound understanding of the world's imperfections, their innocence now intersecting with a harsh reality. The incident had become a mirror in which the community saw not only Maya's pain, but also their own struggles against an enduring system of bias. At local community centers, voices of older generations merged with the vibrant energy of youth. Testimonies recounted days of long marches and candle-lit vigils, moments when the fight for equality took center stage. In these reflections, symbolic images of historic protests appeared, banners held high, determined faces in the crowd, and an unwavering belief that every act of hate could be met with a counterforce of unity. A community leader stated earnestly, "The memory of our past protests fuels our present resolve. We stand together because we have endured, and we will continue to endure until justice prevails." Such words resonated deeply with those who remembered the long, arduous journey toward civil rights. Glimmers of solidarity emerged even as the incident cast a long shadow over the day. Public spaces, once echoing with the routine sounds of daily life, now hummed with quiet determination. Neighbors gathered outside in small clusters, discussing plans for support and ways to transform pain into action. Each conversation served as a reminder that the abuse inflicted upon Maya was not isolated. It was a call to awaken a dormant spirit within the community. The collective heartache stirred an unspoken promise that the cycle of injustice would be confronted head-on. A final visual lingered in the minds of those present, a fleeting glimpse of community members, united in sorrow and hope, standing beneath a weathered archway. Their eyes, brimming with both grief and an unyielding resolve, captured the enduring struggle for justice. This incident, searing in its cruelty, was not destined to be forgotten. Instead, it ignited a spark that promised transformation, urging every individual to join in the timeless battle against prejudice. The courtroom transformed into a stage where destiny itself appeared to pause, every eye fixed upon the small figure at its center. In a moment that defied expectation, Maya, the young girl whose silence had been mistaken for submission, stood tall. The atmosphere became electric as she slowly rose from her seat. The camera captured her determined gaze in close-up, her eyes reflecting both the pain of past indignities and a newfound resolve. Soft, powerful music swelled in the background, drawing every listener into the gravity of her stance. At that very moment, the echoes of history seemed to converge with the promise of change. An unwavering expression took form on her face as she stepped forward, her small frame a stark contrast against the imposing figures of authority. Every measured step resonated with an inner strength that had been nurtured through years of quiet endurance. The slow-motion visuals revealed the intensity in her eyes, each blink a silent declaration of defiance. The judge, normally a pillar of authority, appeared taken aback by her unexpected courage. Jurors and community members exchanged glances that conveyed a mixture of astonishment and hope. In that fraction of a second, the courtroom evolved from a place of formal proceedings into a living testament to the power of speaking truth. Maya cleared her throat, and the room fell into a profound silence as she began to speak. Her voice, though gentle, carried the weight of generations who had been silenced by prejudice. "I stand before you as a person who deserves respect," she declared, her tone both humble and resolute. Her words reverberated across the room, reaching the hearts of every individual present. It was a moment that transcended the boundaries of the legal proceedings. It was a declaration that injustice would no longer be tolerated. Her message was not solely for the courtroom, but for the entire community that had suffered in the shadows of discrimination. In a series of intimate close-ups, the camera revealed the transformation that had taken place within her. A flicker of fear was evident in her eyes as she recalled the sting of past abuses, but that fear quickly gave way to determination. It was a journey from vulnerability to empowerment, marked by the realization that her voice was both unique and necessary. Each word she uttered carved a path toward healing, not just for herself, but for all those who had endured similar indignities. The powerful music, resonating with hope and urgency, underscored the importance of every syllable she spoke. At the same time, the reactions in the courtroom painted a vivid picture of change and progress. Older community members, who had witnessed decades of struggle, nodded slowly in approval, their faces reflecting memories of battles fought for justice. A legal expert in the gallery remarked softly to a neighbor, "This moment reminds us that even the smallest voice can alter the course of history." The judge, too, showed a visible shift in demeanor. His rigid posture softened as he absorbed the profound significance of Maya's testimony. Every person present was drawn into the narrative of transformation unfolding before them. A series of reflective commentary interwove with the unfolding events. A seasoned community leader later explained, "The courage displayed here is a bridge between the struggles of our past and the promise of our future. It is a call to action that compels us to reevaluate the systems that have long oppressed us." Such reflections provided a deeper context to the unfolding scene, affirming that Maya's act of courage was not an isolated incident, but a pivotal moment in a broader, ongoing quest for equality. In the midst of this transformative scene, the courtroom became more than a venue for legal proceedings. It turned into a crucible of hope. Maya's bold stand was a turning point that redefined the power dynamics within the room. Her voice, clear and determined, had opened a door to a new era where every individual had the right to be heard and valued. As the music reached a crescendo, it left the audience with an open loop, inviting them to anticipate further changes in the journey toward justice. The moment was both an ending and a beginning, a dramatic turning point that promised to echo in the hearts of all who witnessed it. A brilliant shift in the atmosphere ensued as the courtroom ordeal gave way to an era of transformation. Legal authorities, invigorated by the symbolic impact of the young girl's testimony, engaged in thoughtful deliberations that transcended conventional procedures. Esteemed judges and diligent policymakers debated the necessity of reform, and their discussions resonated with a determination to amend long-standing practices. A verdict, though not a conventional legal triumph, emerged as a beacon of hope, signifying a renewed commitment to fairness and a repudiation of historical prejudice. Across numerous courtrooms, this decision echoed as a landmark declaration that no voice, however small, could be disregarded. A vibrant press conference unfolded the following morning, where reporters and community advocates converged outside the courthouse. Microphones captured the measured words of a district spokesperson who asserted that the ruling was not merely a legal outcome, but a profound statement of societal change. Photographers documented every gesture, every nod of approval, as local news channels broadcast the event live. The media narrative shifted rapidly, and headlines celebrated a milestone that heralded a new chapter in the quest for equality. Journalists expressed their optimism, and public opinion began to realign in favor of a more inclusive and just future. A spirited gathering soon materialized within community centers and local halls. Neighbors and activists assembled to commemorate the moment, exchanging stories of struggle and perseverance. Elderly residents, their eyes bright with memories of past victories and losses, recounted their experiences from earlier eras. Their testimonies, filled with both sorrow and pride, underscored that the courageous act of a single child had ignited a powerful collective resolve. Every shared anecdote and every heartfelt gesture affirmed that the struggle for justice was a continuum, bridging the trials of the past with the promise of tomorrow. In the quiet confines of her modest home, Maya reflected on the seismic impact of her actions. Seated by a window that framed the gentle glow of dusk, she spoke softly into a recording device. Her measured words, imbued with a cautious optimism, conveyed the mixture of relief and responsibility that now defined her existence. She acknowledged the challenges that remained and embraced the understanding that her voice had become a tool for empowerment, not only for herself, but for an entire community. Her recorded monologue, later shared on local television and online platforms, resonated with viewers as a symbol of the transformative power of truth. Reverberating through the community were heartfelt testimonials from seasoned citizens whose lives had been marked by similar struggles. One venerable community leader, with wrinkles etched by decades of hardship and hope, explained in a reflective tone, "The courage demonstrated here is a bridge that connects our painful past to a future where every individual is valued." His measured words, captured by local media, stirred the hearts of many, inviting them to re-examine their roles in an evolving society. Legal experts concurred, noting that the event had instigated meaningful discussions on policy changes that would better protect the rights of those historically marginalized. The broader impact of Maya's courageous stand rippled outward into schools, public forums, and legislative chambers. New initiatives emerged, designed to foster an environment where young voices could flourish without fear. Educators and community organizers launched programs aimed at encouraging dialogue about justice and equality. The narrative began to shift, from one of resignation to one of dynamic change, and across the region, citizens felt emboldened to advocate for reforms that promised to dismantle outdated structures of bias. At the close of this day of transformation, as the sun set over a city aglow with renewed hope, a collective promise took shape. The journey from pain to empowerment had only just begun, and every heart was stirred by the call to nurture the legacy of courage. The resolute act of one young girl had rekindled a flame of determination, inspiring generations to persist in the fight for a world founded on truth, dignity, and justice. Emerging from a day that transformed sorrow into strength, the echoes of a single courageous act resound like a timeless refrain. The journey began with a painful incident that pierced the silence, a moment of raw injustice that seared itself into memory. From that first instance of abuse to the stirring defiance in a hallowed courtroom, the story unfurled as a powerful reminder of the enduring human spirit. Each moment of struggle laid the groundwork for an extraordinary transformation, where a young girl's brave voice challenged a legacy of prejudice and illuminated a path toward renewal. A vivid recollection of the past merges with the present as images of the courtroom flicker across the screen. The camera captures the resolute eyes of the young girl as she stood firm in the face of oppressive words. Her measured declaration, articulated with unwavering clarity and determination, broke the chains of silence. In that defining instant, the atmosphere shifted. The echo of her voice reverberated through the chamber, stirring the hearts of every witness. The legal proceedings, once steeped in routine, took on a new significance, as her courage sparked a profound reassessment of long-standing biases. The moment was a pivot, a turning point that signaled a future where justice could be reimagined and reformed. The impact of her stand was not confined solely to the walls of the courtroom. In the days that followed, The ripple effects became apparent in the halls of justice and throughout the community. Legal authorities, inspired by her unyielding spirit, embarked on a journey of introspection and change. Policies were reconsidered, and voices from across the nation joined together in a chorus of renewed commitment to equality. Press conferences showcased determined leaders pledging to dismantle discriminatory practices, while community gatherings buzzed with discussions of reform and hope. The narrative of injustice was being rewritten by a generation determined to honor the past while forging a brighter future. In the quiet aftermath of this historic day, a reflective monologue emerges. The young girl, whose bravery had set the stage for transformation, now becomes a symbol of healing and empowerment. Her story, deeply intertwined with the struggles and triumphs of those who came before her, serves as an enduring reminder that even the smallest voice can incite monumental change. Elderly members of the community, drawing on decades of experience, speak with measured reverence about the significance of her act. They recall the hardships they endured, the battles they fought, and the hope that now shines anew. Their testimonies resonate with the wisdom of the past, reinforcing that the fight for justice is a continuum that spans generations. Bathed in the gentle glow of a setting sun, the historic courthouse stands as a beacon of hope. The golden light casts long shadows that mingle with scenes of community solidarity and quiet celebration. Faces once marked by despair now beam with resolve, and the air vibrates with a promise of renewal. This tableau of hope is a call to every viewer, an invitation to reflect upon the importance of speaking out against injustice. The legacy of this young girl, captured in every shared story and heartfelt conversation, is an enduring testament to the power of courage and truth. In the final moments of this narrative, the invitation is clear. Each person is urged to examine their own role in the continuing struggle for justice, to share their experiences, and to contribute to the dialogue that shapes our collective future. The journey from pain to empowerment is not complete until every voice is heard, every truth is acknowledged, and every act of courage paves the way for a more just and compassionate society.